Can the clerk call the roll?
There we go.
Fullerton,
Here.
Christensen,
Present.
Chin,
Here.
Brumette, Scott,
Here.
Rodriguez,
Present.
Newman,
Present.
Mayor Fullerton, you have a quorum.
Okay, I'll make an announcement when it gets to council members about Councilman Brummett. We have the invocation from Pete Kroll, First Baptist Church.
Thank you all for being here, month in and month out, serving our family and serving our community. We appreciate you and all that you're doing. Have a short word from Psalm 121 tonight that reminds us that God watches over those who watch over us. I lift my eyes to the hills. Where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. He will not let your foot slip. He who watches over you will not slumber. Indeed, he who watches over Israel will neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord watches over you. The Lord is the shade at your right hand. The sun will not harm you by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord will keep you from all harm, and he will watch over your life. He will watch over your coming and going, both now and forevermore. We'd like to pray for you and for others who serve us tonight. Father, we thank you for those who do watch, those who are faithful and who care, those who show up when others do not, and those who lead from the heart. And we just thank you tonight for this council, for the mayor, the clerk, for the community members, others who serve in this building. And we pray your blessing over their life, that they would understand how much you love them and how each one in their family is cared for by you. And Lord, we do pray for others in our community as well. We think of the law enforcement and the first responders who are constantly putting themselves on the line and, Lord, restraining evil and restraining us at times. And we just thank you for them. Thank you for their perseverance in the middle of a hard couple of years here in our community. Thank you for those who respond to fires, for those who care for us and lead in our libraries and our schools, Lord, for our teachers, those that care for our kids. We know that's beyond the scope of the work here, but it takes everyone to be a member of this community and to really care and to build one another up. And Father, in this divisive time that we live in, where we disagree on certain things, and we understand that there are black and white issues, but it's neither black nor white that is important. It's not blue nor red, but it is you. It is what is true and what is good and what is beautiful. And so we pray for wisdom for the members tonight, that you would give them guidance in the complications, the complexities, the decisions that they're making. And Father, we pray your protection, just as your word promises us that you're near us, just as close as the shade is to us, Lord, that you're close and that you're near to all who call upon you. And so thank you for sending Jesus, Lord, for our sin. Thank you for those who serve us the way that he did. And we pray your blessing on our community, that we could love one another. And we pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you for coming tonight. I'll stand for the pledge, please. With that, I did receive a call from Councilman Brummett. They have a family emergency that him and his wife had to attend to. So, like to have him excused.
Move to excuse.
Second. Moved and second to excuse Councilman Brummett. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Public comment. Anybody here that'd like to address the council during public comment?
Good evening. Nicole Christensen, Eaton County Commissioner for District 12.
and also the founder and president of Friends of Eaton County Animals. I just wanted to give a little bit of an update. We did our sale, our very first sale, at Cardell Hall this past weekend, and we had taken donations in from community members, things that they would typically take to hospice, Goodwill, wherever, and donate. So they brought us their items all week long, and we had the sale Friday and Saturday. And because of the generosity of the community, we were able to raise $2,693. So that was wonderful. Now, we will be putting every penny of that into our account to keep building that, to be able to open a shelter within Eaton County, since, again, we only have animal control at about 15% capacity right now. But I just wanted to say thank you to everyone out there that donated and helped us out. And we're looking at possibly doing another one during citywide garage sales in May. So watch our Friends of Eaton County Facebook page and different newspapers and such, and we'll keep you updated. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else here for public comment? The clerk have anybody online? Okay, we'll move on to the approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Your second?
Second.
Moved and second to approve the agenda as is. Any other discussion?
I'd like to move A and B from the consent agenda to the regular business.
D will become, A will become D. And B will become E. Any other request? All in favor of approving the agenda as changed, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Agenda's approved as changed. Communications and committee reports. Manager report is first.
Very brief, obviously, but, give you a little background with what the first week is, just trying to figure out a few things, but really working on toward the budget, which is an item that we'll talk about later in the agenda. Important to note that the manager search proposals due the 24th, and the clerk and I will be involved with the logistics of it, but probably look to talk, it would be a convenient time for a special meeting to screen those, possibly conduct interviews, but ultimately I'd like you to consider making a selection at your March 9th meeting. So a lot to do in a short time to do it, but it can be done, so. The other is with the framework that Mr. Hilliard had worked on. There's a couple he just said there really wasn't a process for taking anything off. I thought, well, maybe you just do a resolution, so in the future, if you're okay, I'll just present it, so that it kind of keeps it up to date with what's remaining. The other part of it is with the department head meeting, we're gonna, start looking forward to see, you got a full plate. There's no doubt about it, and we'd like to manage it as convenient as possible, but still get through what you need to. So we'll keep that in mind, and I'll probably start giving you some advanced items that'll be coming, and if there's questions, we can discuss those and make sure by the time it hits the dais for requested action that everybody knows what it is and is comfortable. So that's it for my end of it.
Anybody from the staff that has, did you have questions?
No, I think we missed the approval of the minutes.
I think we did too.
Yeah.
That'd be a point of order.
Yep.
Thank you. We'll go back to 5 before we go on with any staff reports. Approval of the minutes,
So moved.
Second.
okay,
I have a couple corrections.
go ahead.
On page 1, Councilmember Chin agreed that requiring the clerk to record every detail in that paragraph, it's CHIN, not CHEN. And then in the back, again, motion by Scott on the 4H. That, This is supported by Chinto. I don't know who that is, but
It's,
I think we need to, so I have 3 different names on the minutes, so that needs to be fixed.
I saw that.
That's it.
There was no space between, it should have been Chin too.
Yeah.
Anybody else have any corrections? Mr. Newman?
My last name is spelled wrong. If we're going for name corrections, be on
First page?
page 6, I think. Well, that's 6 of everything, so that's
Page 6?
1, 2, 3. Page 4,
Page 4.
right side, second to last paragraph, Councilmember Newman. N-E-U-M-A-N-N.
Okay. I had 4 corrections, and Mr. Chin got one of them, but page 1, page 1 on the right-hand side, motion by Rodriguez, supported by Chin, that statement, Mr. Hiller's thoughts during the entire time, and it was marked motion failed, period, carried. Yay 2 and nay 4. So it can't be failed and carried both. Okay? Everybody see that?
So sorry, clarification,
Yes, go ahead.
you just want to strike carried from there?
Yes. And then I saw Mr. Chin's name on page 2 on the left-hand side. Motion to approve the December special council meeting minutes as written. Motion carried with Councilman Rodriguez voting no. And it said carried yay 1, nay 5. And that should say yay 5, nay 1, and 1 absent. And on page 7, which is the last page, motion by Chin, supported by Scott, to approve the interim city manager contract with Great Lakes Municipal Consulting. Vote yay 5, nay 0, absent 1, and I think it was a unanimous vote of yay 6. And 1 absent. Is that correct?
That's right.
That's the way I remember.
That's the way I remember it.
Okay, so. Those would be the corrections. Madam Clerk, are you clear?
I have it.
Okay. So we have a motion to approve the minutes as amended.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved as amended. Thank you for correcting me, Mr. Chen. Now we're down to staff report. If there's any staff that has comments? I guess not. Committee, council member committee reports. Anybody been to a committee meeting?
The Housing Committee, this past week, this Housing Committee met with developers and others that are interested in putting up some workforce apartments, as well as going through a very thorough discussion on a senior citizen housing proposal that's been floating around quite a bit. We had representatives from MSHA and provided some direction for these folks to keep moving and trying to get this project done. So that meeting was very interesting. We also had a meeting the next day with one of the largest home builders in the country. And again, they're now very interested in having a project or doing a project here. And then we also, later that day, had a Zoom meeting with a large builder out of Ohio that does workforce building as well. We let them know some of the changes we're entering into and the fact that we're bringing back building inspections, and they are very positive with that as well. So we've got at least 3 active folks. And then I believe there's another development that's being looked at. I'm not sure if it's workforce or just regular apartments, but that's moving along. I think the fire department was working with somebody on that particular project as well. The Brownfield Redevelopment Committee also met. Unfortunately, we did not have a quorum. We missed by 1. So we're trying to reschedule something there again. And we're also still looking for at least 2 or 3 citizens to join that particular meeting. As it pertains to the Brownfield, we've made contact with the county treasurer on land bank, the county land bank, and to work with them on trying to get more properties into the land bank, because that's one of the main components of trying to develop low-cost housing or affordable housing is really the trying to utilize brownfields as much as they can for that. So we're the Housing Committee and the Brownfield Committee are doing what we can education-wise to get a better knowledge of the brownfield. And then with the housing, the main thing there that we'll be focusing in on education-wise is the different financing available, because a lot of these projects that we're seeing and talking to are stacking the different funding sources in order to get the funding that's needed from that. So we also had the bank president of Eaton Community was at the meeting with the senior housing proposal meeting as well. So we're moving right along, and hopefully we're hoping that by spring we can see some activity and growth in the housing market from that standpoint.
If I may add, from the same meeting, Mr. Chen and formerly Mr. DeVec and I have spent the last year and a half doing a lot of diplomacy with developers, and I would say we're completely seeing that come back to us now. And in that last meeting, we have the people in the room actually having conversations with each other whether or not they need to partner up. So it's been very interesting and seeming to compete for the same pieces of property. So these are things we looked forward to, 2 years ago. Things are happening. Thank you.
Mr. Rodriguez.
Quick question, is Mr. DeVec still on that committee?
He's still on Brownfield.
Brownfield,
He's still on.
as a citizen, yeah.
Very cool. I guess if I can go, since I got the mic. Just real quick, obviously our interim city manager, Mr. Pastu, kind of hinted to this. The deadline for the next, for the search firms to get all their information is February 24th. That's a bit further out than I would have hoped, but I guess that can be put on me. I did not give Mr. Hillard a solid date where I wanted those in by, and he chose that date. So I would recommend, since we know when all those will be in by, it'd be great if Mr. Fulton, Mayor, if you would plan a special meeting. I'm not really sure we need to wait 2 weeks before reviewing those. I think it'd be good to, look at the different firms and have a special meeting and pick one so they can get to work instead of waiting 2 weeks for that. That'd be my preference if everybody else liked that idea. And then, you could probably get them in and get interviews coming. I don't know about March 9th. That sounds great, but I'm not sure if we could get it all done by then, unless you were just talking about selecting the firm.
Yeah.
Oh, the firm, but so my preference would be to select the firm earlier than that if we could. But of course, I will defer to anything you and Mr. Pastu come up with along the way. So, thanks.
Any other?
I've got my first meeting scheduled tomorrow with the Camp Francis Board, but unfortunately, I'm going to be traveling for work Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, so I won't be able to attend the meeting tomorrow night, so I'll catch up with the members of that committee and get caught up.
We did not have a planning committee meeting due to lack of quorum. And the next one, I heard we're gonna have it, but I have not heard anything official yet. So I'll update you as I know.
Okay. Does it for,
You have one more. The CARC is meeting this Thursday, 5:30 in the annex of First Congregational. It's been 2 months since I met them.
it does it for council member committee reports. On to the consent agenda, where we only have 2 items left. A mayoral appointment of Tom Potter, who used to be the police chief, so he's been reappointed. And approval resolution, the resolution 2026-05 to approve the authorized sign for Independent Bank.
So moved.
Second?
And move to second to approve the consent agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? On to the business agenda. Consider approval of Resolution 2026-04 fiscal year 2026 bill grant application and proposed voluntary local contribution. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and second. Discussion.
I do have a question, Mayor. Says the proposed project includes roadway reconfiguration, pedestrian cyclist safety improvements, sidewalk reconstruction, and widening and upgrades to underlying infrastructure. And I'm not certain whether or not we were aware of what this project entailed. So we're committing what, $475,000 by approving, or will this come back to us? And can we get to look at what the plan is for this project?
Sure. We'll have Stephanie come up and set and give us a detail. I know the answer, but she can do it better.
Hello? Oh, okay. So first, this is just the grant application itself. So I don't know whether or not we'll get the grant. If we do get the grant, we'll have to go through design for the road itself. And with it being a state trunk line and such a change, we'll likely have to do a lot of open houses for the citizens to come in and give their own feedback, things of that nature. So what was your other question?
So what street are we talking, just Cochran?
This is from Harris to Seminary, essentially. In the grant, it says Krebs. We might be able to extend the paving all the way down there, but for the underground infrastructure itself, it'll be from Harris to Seminary.
Okay. Pedestrian and cyclist safety improvements, what are we planning there?
Yeah, so the current plan that I had the engineer base the estimate off of is adding, I think it's like 7 feet onto the sidewalk. And so basically you'll have like a 5-6-ish feet where it'll be the new street poles, trash cans, benches, that kind of thing. Then we'll have a dedicated probably 5 foot wide space for people that want to ride their bikes or that want to run or things of that sort. And then you'll have the other dedicated space that for people who are just walking to normal businesses, want to walk down the street, that type of thing.
I know in the past that we've had issues with wheelchair and the current sidewalk not being wide enough and et cetera. Are we addressing this with this plan and making sure that we're ADA compliant as far as being able to, for people in wheelchairs, especially motorized wheelchairs, to be able to get through downtown?
Yep, anytime you touch a road, whether it be a local street or a state trunk line or a major street, you actually need to update the ADA ramps in general. But, so this will be a total reconstruct from building front to building front. So everything will be ADA compliant and brand new.
In your plan, are you planning on new streetlights?
Yep, new streetlights, so right now, the traffic lights basically like hang right from poles. So we put in for the really big, nice mast arms. So we'll have brand new mast arms, brand new traffic signals, pedestrian push buttons, I mean, you name it.
Already, thank you.
Mr. Rodriguez?
So this portion of Cochrane, you said it's Harris to,
Krebs. Krebs, yeah.
like, is it typical that a city pitches in, because isn't that isn't that considered a state highway? It's not typical that a city would pay for that, would they?
So we own all of the underground infrastructure underneath of the road, so it doesn't matter that it's MDOT's road. If we have a water main break there, we're paying for it, we're fixing it,
Okay.
including the road on top of it.
So so this project's gonna reconstruct underneath the road and everything as well?
Yep. Our water main is from 1886, so,
It's not that old.
yeah.
So, okay.
We also have quite a few, I think 13 lead services that we're gonna have to get out into the middle of the road anyway, to fix.
Lovely, love to hear it. Now, my next question is, in the actual resolution, like in the memo, it states that there are two sources of the 475,000, but in the actual resolution, it only names the city and it doesn't have MIO, which is whatever that acronym was.
That's, the MIOTAC is the Michigan Infrastructure Office, and we're actually waiting on to see if they're gonna give us our match grant or not. So, we're waiting for that.
Got it. But so I might understand this correct, either way, we are committed to 950.
No, if the MIOTAC gives us the grant match, we'll have about 475 and they'll do about 475.
Okay.
Yep.
Because in the resolution, it says the city of Charlotte acknowledges a proposed voluntary local contribution of up to, so they would just fit inside that local contribution
I
group.
did it as up to because I didn't know what was gonna happen.
Smart. That's why you get paid the big bucks. All problem solved. Very well.
So if we don't get the 475 from the Michigan Infrastructure Office, does that, I mean, we won't do the project, or?
No, we'll pay 975,000 and we'll do the project.
Sure, go ahead.
Well, does this all come out of the water and sewer fund? Like, is this a major?
It'll be split up. So some of it will be water, some of it will be sewer, some of it'll be street. It won't be streets, it'll be, in my brain right now, and correct me if I'm wrong, Vincent, I was thinking water, sewer, and then some of it will come out of the general fund. Because it's not a major or local street, so I can't take that money out of those street funds that are dedicated for major and local streets.
So it'd just be split up somehow.
There's another way to look at this. When we used to do subdivisions, we had a pre-preliminary plan. And that's what this is. This is given the DPW director the okay to apply for the grant. And if we didn't have council approval to apply for the grant, you just throw the grant away. It'll just stop right now. If we get approved, there's still time to get out if there's some problem. Because we're gonna go through all this and all the design. She's talking about water mains, and we found 8 hydrants in downtown that got valves on them from the 1900s. they can't get the valves off. There's no fix to them, and their bolts are all rusted. So if we charge the hydrant and anything happens, there's a good chance the valve's gonna blow off. And there's like, if you look at them, there's like 8 of them down through downtown. That's all, you know, gotta be done with the underground, all new hydrants. It's just, we're gonna do it one way or the other, because if one of those blow, you either gotta shut the hydrant completely down and not have it for use, or dig it up and fix it. So that's very important, along with the underground. So I'm sure consumers will be putting gas main in and all that stuff. So,
It'll be brand new.
and the total, just so people know, what's the total project? How many million?
I think right now it's close to 10 million. It's like 9.7 million.
So that's a huge amount of money.
Yeah, and also keep in mind too, let's say it was the 975,000 we have to put into it. You're gonna spend that in putting a brand new water main and sewer alone, so,
Easily.
yeah.
But this is like a pre-approval. I mean, if you want to go, that's the way our bidding process is set up now, is she has to get pre-approval from the council in order to go ahead and apply for the grant. And if she doesn't have pre-approval from the council, then there's no sense applying for the grant. Everybody clear on that? Okay.
I've got one
Go ahead.
question. Is the striping gonna follow the same as Lawrence and M79 with the turn lane and
With the new striping,
with the new striping?
that is my plan, yep. It's gonna be a road reduction, safer pedestrian, safer travel, safer parking spaces, all of those things. We'll be a destination, not a pass-through.
But again, that could all be changed during the design phase, correct?
Yeah,
Public comment.
yep. We'll get public feedback, all that stuff.
We discussed and decided, but it's a huge project if we can get approval.
Yeah, and just so you guys know, the Michigan Infrastructure Office, MyoTech, actually, we applied for grant writing help with them, and we got it, and so this is why I am where I'm at right now, but they actually have about 10 people working on this grant for us. So, and the due date for it is February 24th. So, we're close.
Mr. Christensen.
Just wanted to add one thing, just make sure citizens are real clear on this, that, of the age of what's underneath what exists. 1886 was the number. I think that's just now exceeded its life expectancy, and it's probably gonna be time. And others is the early 1900s. So, it's a no-brainer that this is a great project to undertake, and hopefully we'll have success all the way through.
Yeah, one other thing I'd like to point out too is that when you go after these grants like this, specifically this build grant, you can't just go in and say, I want $5 million to resurface all the roads because they're in crap condition. You have to have a pinpointed project that's gonna make a difference in various aspects for the city. So for those people that are like, why aren't we going after $9 million for repaving roads? That's not how these grants work. We're going after the money we can go after for the things we can go after. So,
Anything else? All those in favor of the motion to approve the resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Second thing on the agenda, consider approval of the Rural Fire Association compensation for vehicles and equipment.
So moved.
Second?
Is there any discussion?
Can somebody explain to me how we got to 65,000?
Negotiation. I can tell you how that got there.
Yeah, where did we start, though?
Way higher than that.
Yeah, the actual start, the first bill that we received from the rural was half of the Carmel Township payment. But they would still not pay to half the services. So that was 92,000
Okay,
one time.
so that was a starting point. They wanted 92,000?
That was 1 year,
Per
too.
year.
Oh, per year?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we got away with 65 for 2 years. Okay.
$32,500 a year.
Mm-hmm.
My understanding is, oh, sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Mr. Rodriguez.
Thank you. My understanding was that staff had to do some mathing to get to those justified numbers and to get there, so I'm appreciative of the work that everybody did. That's all I want to say on that.
And this is, you know, the bottom line is this is just a mistake that the city got into, and we're making good on the mistake, and the rural is happy to cooperate with us with a new, you know, the new Carmel Township agreement, and the rural going to get part of that money. That's going to pay for their share of the trucks. So it'll be a good deal. It's just that we owe this money, and it was going to be, we had him down to 90,000 at one time, which was 45,000 a year. So then we tried this, and this was a little better yet. So they did better than they could have, because they would have won in a court battle. There's no doubt. So. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Passed unanimously again. Now we're to the city manager because he wants to talk about budget calendar draft of Mr. Manager.
Well, it's a general question is, what level of engagement has the council been involved in the budget process? Obviously, when you get a proposed budget, there's a review that takes place, but sometimes there's also a pre-meeting to provide some direction. And usually at that point, I have a little more information about some, you know, trends, which I don't have at this moment in time. But bottom line is, it's just what level do you want to be involved in the front end as well as on the back end? You know, I was talking with Stephanie this afternoon. I said, hey, last year in Monroe, we had a $70+ million proposed budget, and we spent, the finance director and I spent about 75 minutes going through what there was, but they were comfortable. They knew most of what was going in there. So it's a question, you know, just to get some direction. I mean, you don't necessarily have to have an answer tonight, but it would be helpful to know as we start putting it together. We got a meeting on Wednesday with department heads to initiate the process, but.
So really, his question is, how much involvement does the council want to have in this process before you really get started working? Do you want to have a meeting and say, this is your wish list, or does he know that using the framework, or?
Well, yeah, I'd like to start the process by having the council reevaluate individually our priorities, because, you know, some have changed, some we've taken care of, et cetera, and have each council member submit to them maybe their top 5 or top 10 priorities, so that then combine them and see what comes out at the top, and that'll give some direction as to where we would like to see money go to for, you know, the budget. I mean, when you look at the budget from the standpoint, you know, you've already built in a number of costs in terms of employee, you know, personnel, in terms of health insurance and all those costs. I mean, they're there, and we have contracts with the unions that mandate certain things as well. So, you know, we're looking at, you know, what's left after that, because normally that takes up a lot of the budget, and certainly we need to see what kind of money we've got coming in. On the revenue side, I keep hearing that, you know, the revenue sharing is going to be cut. Transportation or road funding is going to go up. I think we figured out the numbers, and Charlotte will be on the positive side. A lot of the townships are going to lose quite a bit of money, but the city itself, we're going to be on the positive side. But because we're going to get a lot more of the road funding and a little bit less than revenue sharing. But overall, when you add them both together, it'll be more than what we've received previously, so, which is good, but then again, the loss of the revenue sharing, which usually goes into the general fund, you have to take a look at what we are going to be able to afford from what's left over for the general fund. So keeping that in mind, council, knowing that, we're going to have less funds, really examine what we think are the priorities for this coming year and say this is, whether it's continuing the street repairs or, whatever projects that we would like to see. Certainly, I think I would like to be able to provide that to the city manager for his consideration as he prepares this budget. It's very similar to what the departments need to do, from that standpoint. So that's my suggestion.
Thank you. Look at this. We're all taking turns so well. Only I jumped in early once. Last year, there really wasn't a lot of council input given the nature of the situation we were in. There wasn't time, new city manager coming in, a lot of crazy stuff happening, and ultimately due to a strong staff, it got done and it was great. What I would personally like to see is I would like to see each of the council members put together a list of some of their priorities. I have the entire priority list from 2024. I can see that a lot of those things have been accomplished, and so that could be a starting point. But I think if every council member kind of threw in, this is what our priorities we would like to see, not really knowing where the funding is going to be yet, but what we would like to see, then we can all get together in a room and say, okay, here's all the things that were brought forward. Let's get some consensus among us. And then we can find the consensus. And then, of course, you guys have the hard work to do. Mr. Chin mentioned a lot of this money it's not already spent, but it's already spent. You got employee costs, you got insurance costs, you got union, you got all this stuff that's going to be there. There is not a bunch of money left over. There isn't massive wasteful spending or happening, and so we're going to be really looking at, okay, what's kind of left over that you think you can accomplish some of our goals with? And then also, this will give direction on what kind of grants we would want to look for and try to do some matches with those funds to try to get additional priorities done. That's how I would see this process taking place. The reality is, I've been here 4 years. I understand most of the money has places it's slotted for, it's going to already be spent. And first we'll get that all worked out, figure out what our projected revenues are going to be. Then, like Mr. Chin said, what do we have to play with and how can we maximize that to accomplish council priorities? That's what I think.
So that's pretty much like Mr. Chin said, same thing, Mr.
Yep. And we also have to keep in mind that the priorities, the state budget, the revenue sharing estimating that they just had predicts a $1 billion shortfall for the state. So, the amount of money that we're finally going to get, that's up in the air right now. We'll know pretty much where this is going after the governor's state of the state, and hopefully we won't get hurt too far. But we also have to keep in mind, again, making sure that we're doing what we have to for the retirement fund. That's a critical thing. And also, like I said, we have the union contracts, but, the other one is the fact that we have a policy in terms of what our rainy day fund needs to be. So again, unless we're going to change that, that sits there as a policy, a certain percentage has to be put in there. So that complicates things even more from that standpoint.
Mr. Mr. Scott?
Well, I was just going to point out, Councilman Christensen's been trying to say something for about 10 minutes here, so let him go first.
No, I was also going to add that at this time last year, we had a temporary accounting or guidance firm, whatever, and our new treasurer. That was all happening at the same time as this was. So there was quite a quite a lot of activity going on. But I know that Rob had mentioned that, us getting our ideas together, are we going to be able to are we going to need to have like a summit meeting or something where we can set all these ideas out and kind of get them into a package? Or what is everybody thinking?
Now we'll go. So I'm in a heated agreement with the idea that we should give like a list of our priorities, but as I'm thinking about it, I'm thinking half of my priority is going to be more about like process and culture and not necessarily money. It's just like how we've changed doing things around here from this room to a lot of things in the last year. But I am realizing that, we're either in the process of doing or completing the things. I have 3 new projects I'd like to get going here. So yeah, I'm all for input, but I completely understand that I am not going to be thinking about their budget. That's not my thought. I don't want to go there. I'm going to let the experts do that. But as far as like, what does this place look like, talk like, feel like, I'd really like to get at that. So that's the meeting I'd like to have.
If I may, Mr. Mayor, I was doing a facilitation for the old city I worked in Farmington, and that was a big item. Culture, customer service, that type of thing. And so, I think it's, we've had it before in other places I work. It's a topic that you have to give consideration, how do you treat the residents? Helpful to know. Sometimes it's maybe not that costly to bring the realization to personnel if that's where the problem is, or just small things you can do to make life more convenient. So, thank you.
Yeah, Brian. What I'm hearing is that we need to put on paper what your thoughts are, everybody's. It could be different, it could be some the same, and get them to the interim manager. Looks like he's done some facilitating before, so why can't we do that within the next 2 weeks? And at the next meeting, our next normal meeting, let him have the floor for an hour of facilitation on the budget. We've unfortunately, I've seen these happen before. We plan for 2 hours. We spend 30 minutes, and we go, let's see, what should we do now? So I think I like the idea. Put it on paper of what everybody thinks, because it could be some the same. And then just would that fit in your schedule?
Well,
to do that at
absolutely.
the next
If I might suggest it, I'll just send each council member an email asking for a list. Now, don't reply all, so make sure it comes back to me. But then it'll help me compile, what those priorities, and a lot of times you'll see a lot of similarities. So it's a quick way to get to, okay, what's the temperature of the council? What issues are there? And it helps us to where there's some discretion on certain things in the budget, we can start, addressing where council is with it. So we don't spend on the back end a whole lot of time, looking at other alternatives and so. But let me do that. I'll just send, just a quick email out to everyone, just put some numbers on the sheet there and just send it back to me, and I'll compile it and share it with council at the next meeting.
So, but we don't want somebody to put in 20 requests. Are you saying limit to your best 5 or 6 or?
5 to 7, somewhere near.
5 to 7.
7's a good number. Somewhere between 5 and 10. You don't even have to do, if there's a couple that are just critical, but it's helpful for me to know if there's specific projects too that you'd like to take a higher.
And then, I don't like to do things by the end, but how, you're going to send that out tomorrow or the next?
Oh, yeah, I'll send it out tomorrow.
And then you want them back by a
Enough.
week? Or 10
Yeah,
days?
probably a week. We're trying to get our packets out to you maybe a day earlier than what we have, and so
So he'd want it back
probably
way before the
Wednesday
next
of,
council
maybe
meeting.
Wednesday of the following week, and that'll give you a data, just compile it quickly, and I'll put that in the email.
If you put an email.
Yep.
And then you would be okay to head up that discussion then,
Oh, yeah.
the next meeting?
Yep, absolutely, yep. And I'll know a little bit more about financial, where we're at with some things, so, at least I hope so.
Sound good?
The other thing, well, since '22, when I first got on council, I'm still looking for a 5-year capital improvement plan. So I will mention that. I think that in order for us to be able to budget properly and look at the future, especially, I mean, I'm looking at, when I hear infrastructure from 18, whatever, we've got to really start focusing in on our infrastructure, and we can't just let it not be addressed. I know it's a lot of money, but at the same time, we can't. That's the problem that we have right now with our roads, is that they just are kicking the problem down the road because it was too much money and nobody was coming up with an idea until our new DPW director said, hey, let's try this, and why not, from that standpoint. And that's, I'm not sure if we're going to do a PASER report this coming year or not, but normally we've been getting PASER reports on a yearly basis, but then again, using that PASER report, what roads are we going to plan on doing this coming year from that standpoint, and what makes sense and what not. We leave that all up to you and the DPW director to make those recommendations, but it helps us with the citizens that, are so complaining about roads, even though we did more than we've ever had that I know of from that standpoint, which was outstanding. But we still have, those folks that are going to complain forever. I don't care what we do, but unfortunately, we've got some of those folks that we also have to, be cognizant of and really address their issues. The other is, of course, the water rates. We've had yearly reports and recommendations on what the rates should be, and in terms of the money that has to be set aside for future, et cetera, and current operations. And we haven't seen that this past year, so I'm hoping that will be part of the discussion as well. So that's it. Yeah.
We'll leave it in, you have something?
I just wanted to add to what Councilman Chin said. I know in some of my education that I've gotten through MML, I don't like to be the gloomy Gus by any means, but I know the water rates are really going to have to be looked at because we're falling behind without a doubt. I don't want to see our citizens have to get hit with some crazy charge like happened in Eaton Rapids or something. I would rather we get into a plan where we can kind of keep up with cost increases and that kind of stuff. So, we don't have to have a big surprise to anyone. I'd rather be that we're very forthright with everybody, and so everyone's involved and they understand what we're up to.
Okay, so you need anything else?
Nope, that was good
we're
feedback
gonna do?
for me. Thank you.
Okay, we got an idea. Okay, back to approved claims and expenditures totaling $791,434.65. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Now we've got discussion. Mr. Chin.
Yes, I just needed to figure out the Shift Group, Inc. There's a payment of $90,811.68, and it says brownfield expense tax reimbursement. Can somebody, I don't know what that is, so.
I'm
is
going
there
to take
any-
a shot at it. When I saw that number, it was a big number, catches your eye. But typically what happens, there probably was a brownfield plan for this site in which the developer incurred the cost of the environmental remediation And what happens with the brownfield, you'll commit to them is that whatever you're captured from the tax would be reimbursed as they come in. That's a lot of money, though. I saw the 90,000. I'm used to seeing it a little smaller scale. Don't know anything about the site, but typically, if they've put money into an environmental remediation, but their taxable value goes up, whatever the marginal difference is between what it used to be and what's collected now will go back until they've paid off, until the cost of the remediation has been paid off, so.
Yeah. Well, I think it would be helpful for me as a member of the Brownfield redevelopment to see the documents or see what this is, if we can, from that standpoint, because it is, to me, it's an extremely large number for them. So that's that was the only thing I had, Doug, was questioning on the claims.
Any other questions on the claims?
Just you would like me to bring back the supporting documentation behind the payment?
Yeah, if you could, or just submit it for the Brownfield Committee to.
Yeah, okay. Yep.
Okay.
I just want to reiterate, I feel the same way about the, for learning purposes, if nothing else. We just want to see how that was worded and worked out.
Okay.
Yeah, we're kind of rookies on brownfield redevelopment, so we're trying to, we've had 2 meetings that the state was going to come and give some training, so this will be helpful for us to learn.
Roll call vote on approval of the claims. Madam Clerk?
Fullerton,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Newman,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Christensen,
Yes.
Chin,
Yes.
Ahmed is absent.
Claims are approved. Next, approve ferric chloride supplier Haviland Products Company. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, discussion.
Yes, I asked for this to be, because 2 things, bids were requested, and did we get more than 1 bid?
There were 3, I think, that were submitted.
3?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah, okay.
Page 28.
Yeah. Yeah, there was some confusion last time we did this on figuring out the tonnage and all that kind of good stuff from that standpoint, so. Okay, that's it.
I was just curious, why did we do a 1-year? Why is this just a 1 year? I know we, like in other contracts, we do them longer than a year, so I was curious why we went to that.
Stephanie?
The chemical prices fluctuate. So it's hard for somebody like that to commit to a 3-year price with fluctuating chemical prices.
So they don't really want to do it.
No.
and if I may just add to that, it is a commodity. And so, again, as Stephanie said, there is fluctuation from year to year. It's not uncommon. Now, if it's a professional service, sure, you can carry those on a little. They're more predictable. But I will tell you, the commodity prices really went, earlier this decade were all over the place. So but yeah, it's common to do for something like that, a 1-year bid, and we did it many times in Monroe when I was there.
It's similar to like lump sums of fuel, if you will.
Yeah, I just want to reiterate, that was my question. It felt like it was almost identical to what we did a year ago. And I was just curious as to, are we getting the best deal for that? So, thank you. Yeah.
Anything else? All in favor of the motion to approve the purchase from Haviland, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Public comment. And no one online? There's no other staff comments that I know of. Staff wants to comment anymore? Mayor and council, we'll start to the left this time.
Surprise. First off, thanks for everyone being here tonight and those watching online. Let's see. I did have one question I couldn't answer or didn't get asked, but I did hear on the news that there's some folks experiencing the salt shortage due to what the weather we've been experiencing. And I was wondering if we were having a problem with that or are we holding our own? Hopefully I'll find that out later, or maybe. I don't know if I can do it now or not, but
We can allow her to answer.
Hello?
okay. That clears up. Thank you.
Yeah, we were actually running scarcely low on salt. So there was a period of time more recently that we were only salting intersections because we were very worried about when our next salt delivery was going to be. But we got our salt delivery. Yes,
Perfect.
we're good.
Let's see. Last Friday and Saturday night, for my 4th year in a row, I DJ'd the Charlotte Aquatic Center Winter Ball. The kids were amazing this year. The young ladies all dressed up nice, and the parents and grandparents, and I think we had the largest crowd ever this weekend. So I just wanted to thank the Aquatic Center for allowing me to help them out. And for those of you that donated items, purchased items, volunteered, whatever it was for the Friends of Eaton County Animal Sale, thank you. I also want to say thanks to Martin Fabrique, Eaton County Fair Board, for all the assistance he gave them as well. That's all I have.
Thanks to everybody showed up here and online. I'm still trying to get into my committee role and that sort of thing, so I'll look forward to trying to make connections there and find out what is talked about tomorrow night. So that's where I'm at.
Yes, I just want to thank my wife and obviously Jeff's wife for being in the audience today. Let's just be specific. Tomorrow, or on Tuesdays, I do office hours between 10 and noon, and for anyone listening or anyone here, that would be a good time if you wanted to talk to me about what you would like to see in the next year out of what happens here. Thank you, that's all.
Report from the MML. There's a House bill right now being looked at. It's called the campground bill, and it has to do with temporary residence and limitations. With the housing shortage, housing problem that we're all experiencing, there are restrictions right now on campgrounds on how long you can be there, and also in terms of issues where what they call them, the winter folks that go to south, snowbirds. They were talking about snowbirds that leave their RV in a campground during the winter and they go to Florida. Well, this legislation evidently would prohibit them from doing that. Same thing, some campgrounds have been allowing tent people to just hang out there in tents during the winter months when they don't have any business and whatever. And the state's concerned with making sure that, of course, passing some laws that would regulate that as well. On the federal level, the Housing for the 21st Century Act is being voted on. It's a partisan bill, nonpartisan bill. Both Republican and Democrats are in favor of it. It's co-sponsored by each party, but really its focus again for the Community Development Block Grant Program, which we got 200,000 last year, and I think 300,000. It would continue that. But it will expand out. Currently, it only permits rehabs for housing, but it would allow for expenditures for new housing development. So again, that's going to help, again, with building more houses. Exempt certain infill and rehab projects from national environmental policy, environmental impact reviews, therefore shortening timelines and reducing costs. Supports local government capacity improvements for housing developments by establishing new grants for planning agencies and new HUD resources to aid localities. Expands veteran housing program, and the bill does not preempt state or local governments or contain any unfunded mandates. So that's, MML is asking that we contact our House representative, federal House representative, urge them to vote, which was sometime today, so. And then there's money, I don't think we have any, do we have any bridges, Stephanie? Because there's new funding for local bridge repairs and the. An interesting one, House bill that would allow the destruction of drones if they're flying in restricted areas. So that will let the police or the government to shoot them down if they violate airspace. There is funding, a lot of funding for municipalities that work with energy, like solar panels. They were citing certain things like solar panels in parking lots, you know, that would kind of like what Michigan State has in their parking lots. And so they're looking at additional legislation for the storage and sale of excess energy that may be generated either by solar on the roof of the city properties or whatever from that standpoint. Again, the governor will be talking about a $90 million relief for senior citizens on the budget. So they don't know where she's going to get the money that they'll lose, but they want to provide relief for senior citizens and taxes. There's no details exactly. Let me see, elections. Oh, they're talking about limiting the number of elections that cities can have. And looking at I believe either the February or May elections and pushing that from that standpoint. And then changes in school taxes. Also, too, prior to leaving, I had met with Mr. Hillard regarding a company that uses AI to assist with grant funding, and I'd like to explore that a little bit more. It's a program where they can feed in whatever let's say you want funding for X, they'll put X out there, and through AI, and their database, they go out and they'll find every state or federal grant that applies to that. They'll have the application, they'll assist with filling out the application. If a narrative is needed, they'll write the narrative for you, and the program cost, there's two prices, $5,000 for 10 grants or $10,000 for unlimited grants. So at some point, I'd like to have them, because it was kind of interesting how the program works. And again, it's new technology, but it would save us a lot of time, I think, and effort that our folks have to spend in applying for grants and trying to find grants for things. They were talking about the fact that close to $1 billion in grants were not awarded last year because nobody applied for them. And a lot of times they didn't know that there was a grant for X, Y, or Z. So this would help fill in that gap from that standpoint, and would be able to do things without having to hire a full-time grants writer. So something to consider, and you know, we can discuss further and have that presentation done.
Mr. Rodriguez.
Just letting you know, I'm happy to sit on the airport board.
Okay.
To keep up with that. I know there's been some issues me actually getting out there in recent days, but my schedule now should allow for those Monday mornings. I should be able to make it on the regular.
Good.
And that's it, unless you want me to go over this other stuff.
No, the question I asked you about the airport board was because I had some people contact me. There was a couple things going on that we hadn't heard about the council meeting. Fuel, and maybe a chance to rent some of the property on the roadside. So this stuff, I didn't know if you had time, but you're good to go.
I'm good to go now, yeah.
Okay. I'd just like to say that I had 2 calls in the last week from TV people, calls or emails, and those both got turned over to our very competent city manager, who handled it perfectly. And I think once you guys get the idea of how to do this, I think it's going to be best, because he does know, and whoever we find for a new manager will know more about what's going on here than we do. And when they, you know, even if I went and spoke, then I don't know what you think, and I don't know, but the manager knows what the council is kind of doing, more than I think anybody else. He knows what the department heads are doing, where we don't. So we need to, like that one person we interviewed for a interim manager said, you know, stay up here where you belong, let the manager manage and the people work, and the council stay up deciding what policy is. And just, I think the meetings run better, well more managed, and so I think we're doing better at that. And if we can just continue, then if we get the meetings down to about 36 minutes, we'll beat the record sometime. So it's not going to happen next time, because he's going to spend an hour on the
budget, yeah.
So, but
Well, I don't know how many people knew him, but he was a prominent attorney here that recently passed away, Raymond Buffmeyer. Yeah, and long time resident of Charlotte, but so it was unfortunate, but
okay, anything else?
yeah.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned.
Doggone thing.